All right.
If you're able to, guys, go to the view and put it into multi-speaker. So you see the speakers and you don't see all the other attendees.
Good morning, everyone. This is Edith from Biodroga. I am so happy to be here. And today we have a very, very special guest. Actually, we have two special guests. Will from Australia, who is the international trainer from Biodroga, and Nicole, who is the trainer for the West Coast. Hello, Will. Hello, Nicole.
Morning, or afternoon there, wherever. Good night.
Good morning for me. I think it's morning. Yes, it's
Or
morning.
international. It's going to be a little confusing.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about aging. So we're going to have four sections in our webinars today. And the first section is going to be everything Will knows about aging. Second section will be the top 10 active ingredient. Number 3 will be where to find those active ingredients, and then we will have Q&A. So Will, I'm going to let you talk and give us a lot of information, please.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me again. I'm very excited. I'm so excited. I went to bed very early because it's 2 a.m. in the morning here. So I tried to get into bed at about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and it was like the night before Christmas. I was like trying to get a nap. But I'm very excited to be here. So today, when I talked to you guys previously, in the past masterclasses, we've talked about lots of different things. But if you were to look at, Google searches, you would see the number one topic that people Google about skincare is anti-aging. And this is without doubt something that Biodroga as a company focuses a lot on. So we're just going to go back, for me, back 30 years, back to beauty school, and we talked and learned a little bit about aging. So there's reasons why we age. We'll talk quickly about the first one. Chronological aging is we're born and then we die, and that is a process. And until Elon Musk comes up with some way to keep us alive forever, God help us. But until then, we'll be born and we die, and that is chronological aging. We can't do anything about that. Now, there's two other forms of aging, and they are intrinsic and extrinsic. Well, with intrinsic aging, if you look at my skin, I would love to say that it's all down on me and Biodroga, but my mum is 80 and she was a very heavy smoker. She was a Bondi surfer girl. She was always out in the sun. And even at 80, she has very few wrinkles. So genetically, I am quite blessed. Now, this plays a huge role. So, your genes will determine how fast you age and how you age. And it also does determine a lot as to whether you might get rosacea, you might get acne. These sorts of skin conditions are very genetically determined, and this is intrinsic aging, what's happening inside of us, and it is predetermined. The last one is yes, hallelujah, it is something that we can control. And this is extrinsic aging. And guess what? 90% of extrinsic aging comes from, and I usually throw this out to my class and they go, and in Australia, we know we put our hands up, UV exposure. So it's not just the sun. I say UV exposure, but I say environmental damage. And environmental damage comes from not just UV, it comes from pollution, it comes from smoking, it comes from too much sugar. As yesterday I sat and ate about 6 Lindt chocolate balls. So all of these sorts of things, these contribute to what we would say environmental damage to the skin. With the sugar, it's through glycation. So these are the reasons we age. So what we can really look after and control and reverse is extrinsic aging. And this is what we're going to talk about today.
Perfect. This is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Ingredients.
Yep.
So
Well, what can you tell us, like, out of all the product lines, what are the top ingredients that we can use to fight these things?
So I know it doesn't look like it, but I went to beauty school 30 years ago. Yes, I'm 50. And I have seen so many ingredients come and go over the years. I know between the three of us trainers, we have seen so many ingredients come and go. And there's just some that really stay as what we would say the gold star. So I've written a top 10. I'm going to say my 10th, we're going to go right to number one would be vitamin E. Now, vitamin E isn't a new ingredient, but vitamin E is one of the most powerful antioxidants. And what do antioxidants do? They protect against free radical damage. Okay. Number nine is antioxidants in general. Okay. So we now like, oh my gosh, we work with so many antioxidants. And I like to think about antioxidants like eating fruit salad. Do you know, you might just have an orange and you're getting lots of vitamin C and you're getting all of those, bioflavonoids, you're getting all of those things you get from vitamin C. But what if you were to have fruit salad, blackberries, strawberries, some papaya, some apple, banana? In a fruit salad approach, you are getting so many vitamins, trace elements. These all work together. And this is how I love to look at antioxidants. So you will see in our skincare, we won't just have one antioxidant. Very often we have many. And the other thing with antioxidants is that they work together. So it's interesting when you think about, when you take a vitamin pill off you go to the health food store and you take a vitamin pill and you go, oh, I think I'm missing that one. And you just take it and you just eat that. What you don't know is you actually need other nutrients to make that easily absorbed. So this is why I always say you are better off eating one apple than you are a multivitamin pill. And this is how I look at antioxidants, whole food, fruit salad approach. Number 8 are our acids: lactic, glycolic, salicylic, malic, phytic, lactobionic. We salicylic, can't remember the holy grail of anti-acne acids. All of these acids have one main function, and what they do is they help with skin cell renewal and the removal of dead skin. But they also have many other functions when they work as nourishing acids. They're antioxidants, they work as hydrators, but they're essential. If you are not using acids in your skincare, you are not getting the benefit of what we would say skin renew, that dewy, glowy skin we get from the acids. Number 6 is vitamin B3 niacinamide. Now, definitely niacinamide is very good at helping with skin lightening. But my favorite effect of niacinamide is the stimulation and the production of ceramides in the skin. Ceramides are, if you do my classes, I have a romantic relationship with ceramides. I love ceramides. Ceramides help the barrier of the skin stay nice and healthy. They help with the healthy activity of good bacteria on the skin. We know good bacteria on the skin is essential to keep the pH nice at a nice 5 to 5.5. So niacinamide is an essential ingredient, not just for lightening of the skin or helping with acne, but for ceramide production. What am I up to now?
Number
Number,
7,
number
hyaluronic
7.
acid.
5.
All right, so is hyaluronic acid.
That's fine.
Hyaluronic acid. So, hyaluronic acid isn't a new ingredient, but it has stood the test of time. What does hyaluronic acid do? Has really one main function, and it binds moisture in the skin. It is the best moisture binder ingredient we work with. Skin needs moisture to function. Imagine, getting to the starting line of the Boston Marathon and not having any water to drink. It's like that. You're not going to be able to run. The skin needs moisture. And very often, we're putting these thick, rich creams on the skin, which really worked, nice barrier, but nothing underneath to bind the moisture. And people will say, oh, my skin feels dry. I'm using the thickest, richest cream, but my skin feels dry. And this is because there's no moisture binders in the skin. And we work with lots. Algae is a beautiful moisture binder. Nothing beats hyaluronic acid. What am I up to now?
Okay.
Number
Number 5.
Number 5 is vitamin C. Vitamin C isn't a new ingredient, but it is absolutely tried and tested and true. It works. It has science behind it. It has multiple of functions. It is a skin brightener. Okay. It helps to lighten pigmentation. It encourages and boosts the production of collagen in the skin. It is also a really powerful antioxidant. We work with two mainly in Biodroga. We work with tetraisopalmitate, which is an oil-soluble vitamin C. We see that in slow age. We see it in the new beautiful hypersensitive cream. That is a oil-soluble, slow-release vitamin C. And we also work with ascorbic acid, very fast-acting vitamin C. Number 4,
Yes.
skin biotics. Yeah.
Yes.
When I did this list, maybe 4 wasn't right because maybe it should have been higher. But anyway, 4, if you've ever done my classes, listen to anything I talk about, skin biotics are for me one of the most important support ingredients. And sometimes it gets pushed aside for other ingredients because it doesn't actively stimulate the production of collagen and elastin, and we're so obsessed with collagen and elastin. But what do skin biotics do? Skin biotics help and support our own natural bacteria on the surface of the skin. That bacteria is essential for keeping the pH perfect. If the pH isn't perfect, guess what? The skin is out of balance and it cannot produce collagen and elastin anyway. Skin biotics, either prebiotics, something like alpha-glucan oligosaccharide, or postbiotics like bifida-ferment lysate or lactococcus ferment lysate. These are prebiotics and postbiotics. We don't work with probiotics because probiotics are alive. They are in things like yogurt, but we work with pre and post. Take these ingredients into your brain because these here you're seeing everywhere now. We as a company, we've been working with these since I was at college. That's how long we've worked with pre and postbiotics in Biodroga. We've always been well ahead of the game when it comes to ingredients. We love the Germans. They are so advanced in skincare, ingredient technology, but definitely skin biotics. Number 3 is retinol. Now, retinol does not need any explanation. It is the most researched ingredient in skincare. What does retinol do? Retinol has lots of different functions, but what I love about retinol is it can actually encourage the speeding up of the skin cell production down in the germinative layer. Now, don't think about it like this. Skin cells still need to take the same amount of time, about 27 days or whatever, to get to the surface, about a month. So it doesn't take it down to 3 weeks. But as we get older, instead of it taking a month for the baby cells to get to the top, it might take 5 weeks, 6 weeks. So it just takes it back to where it should be. That's what vitamin A does. Also helps with the nice cell structure and function of the skin cells. Vitamin A retinol is a really important ingredient. However, for me, next generation is not retinol, but retinal. And the reason is we need far less retinol than retinol to have the same effect. Less means what? Less irritation. So for me, retinol is the future of using vitamin A in skincare. Number 2 is Peptides. Peptides are little man-made chains of brilliance. They are like the personal trainers for the skin. So these little personal trainers tell the skin to do things, produce more collagen, produce more elastin, make that elastin really beautiful in shape, protect the collagen and elastin. They work as antioxidants. Peptides have very specific functions and they're very, very good at it. And then we have one master peptide called dipeptide 1, which is EGF. This is, and we all take a moment of silence to to bless dipeptide 1 because it is without a doubt the very best peptide we work with. It tells the skin to function properly, the cells to function properly, for the collagen to build, the elastin fibers to be nice and strong. Dipeptide 1 or EGF is the very best peptide, and we work with it in our EGF skin concept cream and serum. And number one, I don't know if you used to watch Take 40. We had Take 40 Australia, and they would save the number one song of the week and the number one ingredient. And you're going to go, wow, what's this? It must be this new, like crazy, fancy ingredient. And guess what? Sunscreen.
Definitely.
Sunscreen. Sunscreen is without a doubt the number one ingredient to prevent aging and also to reverse. Because once the skin is protected from UV damage, the skin can look after itself and begin to reverse the damage. I get asked all the time in interviews that I'm doing or magazine articles, tell us about your best anti-aging, product. And I'll be like, it's our sunscreen. And I'd be like, what? No, no, we want peptides. We want boom, boom. We want all the, we want creams that'll lift your buttocks up. No, sunscreen. Sunscreen is the very best ingredient.
For anti-aging, which is why we are here today. All these things to help. Okay, so you gave us this amazing list of ingredients. Now, where do we find them in our products and how can we use them best?
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about antioxidants. So you will find, and this would be a much larger class. It's very hard to go into all the products, but you will find antioxidant protection in all of our anti-aging creams. Okay. And when we start to look at our anti-aging creams is when we sort of start to go from slow age higher. Okay. When we're thinking about slow age, we're talking about tetraisopalmitate. We're talking about vitamin C, the slow release, very gentle form of vitamin C. So slow age, lots of vitamin C in it. So then we have our free radical protection. So, and then from there, coenzyme Q10. I don't know if you guys really understand how important coenzyme Q10 is as a antioxidant. It's an antioxidant that's found in our bodies already. It is a powerhouse antioxidant. So it's found in our anti-aging line. Vitamin E is found in our perfect age line. Then we have, when you go into the high performance cream, we have vitamin E again. So when we go across to the medical line, in the hypersensitive cream, we've got vitamin C, the tetraisopalmitate. And then when you go up to when we're talking peptide creams, we might think, oh, these are just peptide based. So something like the Ultimate Anti-Age Cream, we have a peptide which is an antioxidant. It's a glutathione mimic peptide. Glutathione is another amazing peptide that protects. It's like a master antioxidant, and we have a mimic peptide. You know how peptides work? So peptides are created in the laboratory to mimic the natural peptides we find in our skin, and they do a similar job. So antioxidants you will find throughout each of the lines, but we never not put them in because they're essential in all skincare.
So,
Next.
Will, I have a question for you. So let's say you have a customer who's pregnant and she loves retinol.
Yep.
But she wants to keep on using retinol, but she cannot because she's pregnant. So what are we going to do with Biodroga products then?
Yeah. So we never really had an alternative before. We sort of had to say to her, "Do you know what? Go and have your baby. Love your baby, okay? And then when you're over all of that, you can come back." But guess what? Now we're working with this ingredient called bakuchiol. And I'm sure all these wonderful people in this class don't need to be introduced to bakuchiol, but it is an ingredient that is now being shown in a lot of studies to have very similar effects as retinol with no side effects. Bakuchiol is one of those ingredients that does need to be used consistently. So whilst with retinol, we're working with 2 or 3 times a week. I like to use bakuchiol. I use it on myself at least once a day, even twice a day. And we will find the highest concentration of bakuchiol in the new organic Refirm serum. It's through all of the organic moisturizers. We have bakuchiol, but it is in the Refirm serum. So explain to them they need to remove the retinol, okay? And from their, in this, they need to remove the retinol from the 1% retinol serum. They need to stop using the golden caviar creams. They need to stop using the Clear Plus rich cream, that these have retinol, same thing. They cannot be using it. And then they just replace in the Refirm serum. Okay. And it's not sensitizing. Do you know what? For Couperose, and I know we're talking anti-age, but for Couperose anti-aging, the Refirm serum is perfect.
Great. Thank you. This was very helpful.
Any other questions before I go?
I like what you were sharing about, for example, that why would people that are using EGF also add other peptides,
Mm.
and why don't we?
Yeah. So it's really interesting. When we released EGF, even me as a trainer, I was like, I want more. Like, I felt a little unsatisfied by just the use of dipeptide. And it's because I really hadn't studied what dipeptide or EGF was all about. And I did go to a lot of our competitors, and they might have, dipeptide, then they have several other peptides at the bottom. And I realized they were really working with those peptides as a marketing gimmick. Okay. Because, if you're working with 5 other peptides at the bottom of an inky list
Mhm.
and they're in tiny, they're not doing anything. Okay. We need to have lots of the one peptide to really have effect. And you will see in our EGF serum, I think dipeptide is like the 4th ingredient. There is tons of this peptide, and it does everything that those other peptides do. So if you can think about, like, those little peptides, they're like little personal trainers that are very specialized. Dipeptide, EGF peptide, is not specialized. It does all of these things. Collagen, responsible for collagen and elastin boost. It's responsible for cell protection. It's the cell strength and health. I mean, it does all of these things. So you really only need this one peptide to have all of those effects. Dipeptide is the very best anti-aging peptide. It really, really is. There are other peptides, something like telangian peptide, dipeptide 40, that is an anti-inflammatory. But as far as anti-aging goes and all of the things that go around anti-aging, dipeptide is number one.
This goes with what you always say. You love less is more, as long as it's more active and
Yeah.
quality.
Yeah. When I used to work early on in Biodroga, we used to have inky lists that were like this. you know, and you will see in the clean beauty reformulations that the inky lists have reduced a lot. Now, people might say, wow, that means you're less ingredients. No, it just means higher strengths of the particular ingredients we want and less of the bad ingredients. No pegs now no polyurethane glycol, no microplastics, no mineral oil. We've removed the phthalates, all of those ingredients we don't want to have it in it anyway, that were only for the experience of the product. But now we are working with higher concentrations of the ingredients we really want, Because if you think, so think about if you sit down to a big meal of food, okay, there is more chances of something going wrong with your tummy if you're sitting with 20 plates in front of you. Okay, there's more chance. Unless instead of smaller amount, okay, of very specific ingredients and far less chance of irritation, tummy irritation, from less ingredients and working with good ingredients and without all those ingredients that should not be in skincare.
Mm, great, great, great. What about an older lady, 60 years old? She is concerned about aging, definitely, post-menopause and everything, and loss of elasticity, hyperpigmentation. What do you recommend?
And hyperpigmentation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I sat with one of my colleagues last week, and she was talking to me about been going through menopause for 8 years. Yes, 8 years. And she was saying to me, well, the rich creams just aren't rich enough. They're just not rich enough. But this particular lady was not working with serums. Okay, she was just working with the creams, the rich creams. Because, when a client comes to you like that, the first thing they think of dry skin is what do they do? They just go for a rich cream. They see rich and they think that's it. Old oxygen formula, slow age rich, golden caviar rich. These are rich creams. But then what happens in the morning? Their skin is still parched. They feel dry still because we have to remember that a lot of people think dry is water dry. Us as skin therapists, we understand that dry is lipid dry, dehydrated is moisture dry. So for those particular clients, we need a nice blend of lots of moisture binding ingredients like hyaluronic acid, okay, as well as a nice rich cream. But when you have menopausal skin, is you also have to understand as estrogen drops, okay, a lot of things happen in the skin. Number one, the first thing that starts to happen is hyaluronic acid production drops, oil drops, the youth hormone in the skin drops. Okay. And we used to talk about in skincare how the face would go from sort of a V
Mm,
to an A. And this is when this begins to develop in women with menopause, going through menopause, postmenopause. And that's because not so much the collagen, but what keeps our skin nice and high? It's the elastin. Okay. So elastin production drops. So all of these things begin to happen. So what do we need to do? We need to support the skin straight away. And we have a line called Perfect Age. And this line is designed for this skin concern. Now, don't call menopause skin a condition, okay? Because skin conditions is something we want to treat. Pigmentation, acne, cuperose, these are skin conditions we want to treat. And guess what? With all the good luck sometimes and good skincare, we can change that. You are not going to change a lady's skin who's going through menopause. You're not. And if you could, you'd be very wealthy. And I'd marry both of you because we'd be rich forever. So, but that's just not going to happen. We want to work with those skins. And that means supplying this support. So those skins need lots of hyaluronic acid. And then we work with an ingredient called monk's pepper. Monk's pepper helps to balance out the DHEA in the skin and helps support that youth hormone in the skin. Okay. Also, the lipid content in the creams increase. So monk's pepper extract, hyaluronic acid, vitamin E, and tetrapeptide 2. Tetrapeptide 2 is responsible for collagen and elastin production. Collagen to plump the skin and elastin to keep it firm. Now, you can use either the cream or the serum. So I like to say if you're going to use the cream, use another beautiful serum underneath, maybe the anti-aging serum from Bioscience, or throw in the medical peptide serum. Beautiful. With the actual Perfect Age serum, what I love with the Perfect Age serum is using it under the DDs, the CCs, the sunscreen during the warmer months. So you can mix and match those creams. I'm not a big believer in same serum, same cream. Boring. you as skin therapists need to learn, okay, I'm going to pull out this serum. I'm going to work with the anti-age serum that's two different peptides, okay, 9 and 11. I'm going to use two peptides plus coenzyme Q10. I'm going to pull out the anti-aging serum and I'm going to put it under the Perfect Age cream, which has the monk's pepper, tetrapeptide 2. So, you're pulling out, and what are we coming back to? My whole food fruit salad philosophy. Lots and lots of different ingredients.
Yeah.
I
And you
love
would
that.
add vitamin C for the hyperpigmentation too.
Yes.
Which,
So that is we're treating the skin concern. Okay,
Mhm.
skin concern. When we're talking a condition like pigmentation, then bring in your medicine from medical line.
Okay.
Okay. Now, with that particular client, I will say if they are sensitive with menopause, okay, menopausal skins can be very sensitive because the drop in oil and hyaluronic acid usually can lead to flushing as well, is spot treat with the vitamin C. Okay. Don't feel like you need to cover the entire face in vitamin C. Okay. You can spot treat on the pigmented areas with our vitamin C 15%, which has vitamin C and also tranexamic acid, both melanin inhibitors.
I love that you're saying that they can pull from each organic, medical. And the key is really knowing the ingredients, which is why we're here, and know our products. Then you will get faster, and the clients are happier because we can actually help.
Yeah. So I have we now have three beautiful lines. Bioscience really is luxury. It feels beautiful. It smells beautiful, but with effect. We're working with peptides. We're working with vitamin C. It really is luxury with effect. When we have medical, we have no perfumes in the product. It's a vegan product where we have no perfumes, but it is skincare with effect. It is treating skin conditions. Okay. And then we have organic, and this is an organic product that has effect as well. We're still working with skin biotics, with vitamin C, with bakuchiol. So we're working with, but all of the ingredients are sustainably sourced, which is very important for someone like my little sister. She's vegan. She doesn't put anything on her skin or into her body. She shouldn't, and she loves the organic line. But for 90% of our clients, they don't care. They just want the very best. And then this way you can pull. Like, what if you have, the customer who cannot use the 15% vitamin C? Me, I can't use the 15% vitamin C. It's too strong for me. So where else do I find vitamin C? I find vitamin C in the skin refining serum in organic. So I can pull in that vitamin C, and it's about a 3% vitamin C, and I can pull it and I can try it and I go, it's just a little bit irritating as well. But it's ascorbic acid. It is a strong form of vitamin C. So what do? Is I go to the hypersensitive cream that works with the oil soluble vitamin C, the tetraisopalmitate, and it's slow release. And guess what? For the first time in my life, I can use a vitamin C product because I'm working with a vitamin C that is slow acting, oil soluble, and perfect for my skin. Two other options I can't use, but I'm pulling out the one that I can use.
So
Okay.
I have a client here. Somebody's asking, would you recommend for somebody going through menopause but is not lipid depleted, actually still has breakouts, and sensitive skin?
Yeah. So with this particular client, you could pull in Perfect Age Serum underneath the clear skin products. Okay, because you are getting the support for pimples, blemishes, acne, okay, but also the skin support the skin needs going through menopause. Now, you might say, oh, I've got drier skin. So it's interesting, this concept of this anti-aging rich product, because people might say, like, why would you put niacinamide in a dry skin product because what does niacinamide do is it controls oil in the sebaceous gland. But what we do want to do in adult acne is reduce the oil in the sebaceous gland because that's where the blockages occur. We do want to reduce that oil in the sebaceous gland, but what else does niacinamide do? Stimulates the production of ceramides, the skin's natural oil. And I would much rather ceramide production, lots of it, okay, and less sebum production if I had acne. So, perfect age serum underneath the clear skin creams. Perfect combination. Treats acne skin condition with menopause concern.
Excellent.
Great, great, great.
Sunblock would be for oily, mature skin would be.
Yeah, for oily, go with the oily combination version. Yeah. So there's two options there. Do you know the dry skin version is not super rich? I love in my clinic, we love to recommend the oily combination cream during the day and then the rich version in the evening. They are perfect combination. The rich version of clear skin is not thick and rich. It is just a little bit higher in lipid content with the retinol, which you need.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
So Will, Robin has a question. Robin, what is your question? You need to
Where's,
unmute yourself.
where's the
Like that
lovely
we can
Robin?
hear you.
She's been waiting.
I know.
Hello, Robin. Don't be shy.
Hi, no, I'm sorry. I just had music playing in the background. I had to make sure I turned it off so y'all won't hear it. I was gonna ask. Oh my God, my mind slipped. That was all into what you were talking about. Oh, the Refirm serum. You mentioned that would be good for pregnant clients. Would that also help with clients with sensitized skin?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking this. So, if you think about sensitized skins, cuperose skins, rosacea skins, they are in crisis. They're usually crisis through barrier impairment. So, I always love to focus on barrier repairment.
First,
Yeah, first, and this is like hypersensitive cream, beautiful for that. But these skins also need what we would say collagen elastin production. They still need this support. And this Refirm serum, I worked with this in my clinic now, so this is, this is from me directly. We have all of our cuperose and hypersensitive clients on Refirm. And if you go to our website and have a look at some of the reviews of mixing Refirm with the hypersensitive creams, and the reviews have been amazing
okay.
because you got to think these people miss out on these ingredients all the time. They miss out. But I
Yeah, I
really,
have a client that she's in between a diagnosis with a dermatologist. Um, And I know her skin is not where it needs to be, but she was like, "Oh, I want to try retinol." And I was like, "Oh, let's stay away from that for now." But then I heard you mention that Refirm serum.
I will say, Robin, I was on the fence with Bakuchiol because, I'm old school. I'm like, I've seen ingredients come and go. It's been about 2.5 years now, and I can only go by, we have lots of clients. We work with the product in the institute, ourselves, and I've seen the effects of Bakuchiol, and they are very, very good. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, we're gonna try to heal her skin for about a month, and then we'll add that in.
wonderful.
All right, thank you.
Pleasure.
Perfect. Nicole, do you have any more questions?
Let's see. That was a good one. Are we I didn't know if we were opening or should we? I guess I'll start asking some of mine too. I think it'd actually be interesting to hear what each person would say, each one of us, when somebody says, like, they want to know what product would you introduce to a new client to get them hooked? What would your answer be?
Ah, so I really think, when we're talking about the water soluble vitamins, something like vitamin C, niacinamide, these are very fast. They work very, very quickly. Something like, something like retinol, it can take a month really to really show the benefits of this. But anything also with hyaluronic acid. So, say a client comes in and you're like, oh, something safe because you don't know the client yet. It'd be lovely to say, oh, I'm going to send you home with the 15% vitamin C. And you're going to get such a glow, like, wow. And then they call in 5 days time saying you've burnt my skin. Okay. So as much as we love vitamin C and we think it can definitely show, but I think, something like the 3% hyaluronic acid serum, the rebalance serum from organic, or the peptide serum. And I say that because people will say, oh, peptides take a long time to work. There's an ingredient called pololan. Pololan, the ingredient in the peptide serum, it is an immediate firmer. And if you want to wow a client straight away, this ingredient works, and say to them, do you know what, Sally? Use it around your eyes. And I promise you, instantly, and you will have no reaction to the peptide serum. So hyaluronic acid serum, peptide serum, and the rebalance serum in organic. Again, you might say, "I'll send them away with niacinamide," but any of those types of our niacinamide is 20%. It's quite strong. If you want to wow a new client, send them away with something gentle with immediate effect, and those three products have an immediate effect. Yeah.
I love that. How about you, Edith?
So depending on the skin, definitely hyaluronic acid is, an ingredient I think everybody should use. Now, if their skin is not too sensitive, I would put them during the day on vitamin C because our 15% vitamin C is such a great serum that is going to give everybody a glow. And because of the tranexamic acid that you have in it, it's going to help with hyperpigmentation. And we are in Texas, you are in, California and Australia, and everybody is concerned about hyperpigmentation. So that and peptides at night. Absolutely. Yes.
I
What
love.
about you, Nicole?
And I didn't have I didn't have a product or anything. And I wanted people to hear that too, because that's kind of a trick question. I listen to the client. I ask what they're looking for. I ask, maybe they're missing something in their routine. Like if they're not using an eye cream, I can introduce them to the hydrating, or if they're not using a serum, that anti-aging it's a winner. It will hook them. And I feel like even once they try, most people don't have a neck cream,
Yep.
we have the
Mhm.
best neck cream and décolleté cream. So it's really just, I want people to know it's about listening to what they're missing or what they want, and that we have, something for everything, and we can help balance. And if they're dry, they're actually probably not using something with enough ceramide. So we have, that we have it. We can
So
fix it.
when you're thinking about this, important thing when client comes in, there's two most glaring things. What is wrong and what are they missing? Okay. So these are two things. And in the middle of that is what do they want? Okay. But what they want doesn't always, you might think it's the most important thing, but it's not. Okay. Because at the end of the day, these two things really need to come into play as well. So if they're doing something wrong, wrong cleanser, someone with dry, sensitive skin saying, I love my foaming cleanser, you're like, no. Okay. Or a client who, like you said, that they aren't working with any pigment inhibitors. Okay, or they're not using sunscreen every day. But they have pigment, but they want to treat their blemishes on their chin. So these three things have to come into play. What they want, what they're missing. Okay, these things are really important. And in the good consultation, you will come up with all of these things. But like Nicole said, the client has to be happy.
Yeah.
An unhappy client will not come back. Okay, and will not come back. I do think I'm just going to say this. I do think that a lot of my therapists that I train, they are always very focused on what they want, and then they really do not address what the customer wants. So you might see pigmentation, but the customer is really worried about these blemishes that come up once a month on her chin. So be really aware what the customer wants, the client wants, as well as what your long-term, short-term goals would be working with that person.
Great.
Great.
And we don't want to hug up. Is if any questions, please raise your
Yep.
hand.
Mm-hmm.
Edith, you were going to say something?
Oh, I was going to say, if anybody has question, please let us know.
Can I talk a little bit about sunscreens?
Yes, please. We
Yeah, so
love
it's
sunscreens.
yeah, it's interesting. I have if I hadn't really looked after my skin, I would have been on the way to having rosacea. I have very sensitive skin. I have cuprose. I'm very active, and I have to say that I, as much as I love this cream, it just my skin didn't like it. And so I really stayed away from sunscreens. Our new Keep Me Safer mineral sunscreen in the organic line is now my best friend. It really, truly is. I wear it every day without fail. I enjoy wearing it. My skin loves it. And now that I've worked out how to work with it properly, its application and the way it looks on my skin is perfect. So with this particular sunscreen, you cannot apply it just like a cream. It really needs to be applied as how we would work with CCs and DDs. These are nanoparticles, so the particles are quite large. Okay. I would always work with a serum at least underneath. If you have dry skin, put a moisturizer on then. Let your moisturizer sit. Okay, don't just go trying to put this straight over the top. Let your clients know they need to let these steps sit. So I put my serum on, I let my moisturizer sit, and then I work. I don't work with a brush, but I work in my hands and I pat it in and then I smooth. I avoid my brows, I smooth, and then it's done. I don't keep playing with it. And it is beautiful. Number one, it has these lot of shimmer pigments. It makes my skin glow, like super glow, but my skin is never red. You have to understand that chemical sunscreens will heat up. That's their job. Okay. They heat up. That's what happens when they get sun on them. My skin, I would look like a cherry tomato after I used chemical sunscreens and I hated it. So I just didn't use them and it's naughty. So now I'm using our Keep Me Safer sunscreen. For any of you, if get sample pots, get the clients to take this sunscreen home, but most importantly is show them how to use it properly and they will fall in love. I love the blockers. I love the physical sunscreens. For me, they are the answer, especially for sensitive skin. Also acneic skins, perfect, perfect.
Yeah, because it's not as rich as the SPF 50.
No, it's not rich at all. It's
Mhm.
not rich at all. And this is why I say even for acne skins,
Yeah.
it's wonderful. On its own, without serum and moisturizer, it's quite mattifying. It's actually the opposite to, what we think sunscreens should be. But again, you need to educate your clients how to use mineral sunscreens.
Yeah. So the SPF 50 for us is absolutely, one of our best seller because it's not only a sunscreen, but it's a moisturizer. Can you talk about that a little bit?
This sunscreen is our number one selling product. Okay. And the reason I think it's such a big seller is it's very light to the touch. It's not greasy in any way, but I think it's because of what ingredients in it. So it
Mhm.
has what we call a vitamin complex that works with vitamin C. It also has vitamin B3 niacinamide in it. It also has hyaluronic acid. So all of these ingredients are really also anti-pigment ingredients. So this is another anti-pigment, pigment treating product for daytime for all skins, but especially those that want even skin. Okay. And, I truly believe that most women, when they get to a certain age, uneven skin tone is a big concern. They want that. This is why they're wearing makeup. They're wearing makeup because they want it to look even. And this is what moisturizer sunscreen does. But if you sell a product to someone as a moisturizer that happens to be a sunscreen, they'll go, "Oh yeah, I love that idea." If you sell it as a sunscreen, they go, "Oh, they're greasy. I don't like wearing sunscreens." Don't sell it as that. Sell it as a moisturizer that
Moisturizer.
happens to have a really high SPF and get them to feel it on their hand.
Mhm.
This is all about texture and feel, this product. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Woman.
could you use the SPF 50? I know your answer. Plus the keep me safer.
I would say for what reason?
You
Okay.
go to the beach. You
Yeah.
want major protection.
Yeah. So the SPF 50 you would get from that particular product is the best. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, you do not need to be doubling them up. I'm not a big fan of these particular products at the beach. Okay. This is for us here in Australia because our sun is so strong,
Mhm.
is I really believe that people need to be applying liberally, like tons, especially here, tons of this particular of sunscreen when they're at the beach. I do find that what can happen with more expensive sunscreens is that they don't apply quite enough. I don't know how it is for you in the US, but I think as a face sunscreen in their bag for the beach, absolutely no problem. But they need to reapply every 2 hours. They need to do the two fingers alone. They need to keep reapplying.
Biodroga training.
It's not necessary to wear the 15 as such over the
Okay.
50. It doesn't give you 65 or anything. That 50 is, as we would say in Australia, a bloody good sunscreen. And it's enough. It really is. That Keep Me Safer is just a 15. I don't like to say just a 15 because the
Mhm.
15 is very good. It's also the blockers, which is, very good, but it's really good for sensitive skins that cannot tolerate chemical sunscreens, and also those people that want organic and natural.
Right. Good. So
And
Fadia is asking if she can apply a sunscreen under the eyes.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think this comes down to how sensitive the customer's eyes are. For me, no. I take it to in my orbital bone. That's all I ever take skincare is just to this bone. Sunscreen will naturally, creams will naturally move a little bit with heat. And if anyone knows, like the reason, so we came across this big thing is, why are the medical products not really natural? Sunscreens come from petrochemicals. They are chemicals. They're essential chemicals because we know they prevent sun cancer and aging, but they are still chemicals. Sunscreens in eyes hurt. They hurt.
even ours.
I
It
will
makes you
say,
cry.
Nicole, you
I
wanted to say?
will, yeah,
Yeah,
I do. Oh,
talking about anti-aging. So I'm sure it's a issue everywhere, the over peeling for anti-aging. Can you talk about that and pros?
So there's a really big movement right now about what we would call inflammation that no one can see. So you have the inflammation that we can see in the skin, but we also have this inflammation that is invisible. And this is happening because of what? This is happening because too much skincare, too many active ingredients, peeling too much, too many treatments. And guess what inflammation does in the skin?
Ages you.
It ages you, and not just because of why, because it causes the breakdown of collagen and elastin and hyaluronic acid. It does that. So we want to actually slow it down, work with the skin. I am the king of gentle. Sometimes I have a whole group of colleagues. We all went to school together, and they're always like, more, needle, 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 peel. And I'm always like, let's just use some enzymes, a little bit of lactobionic acid. And I can't say in this group what they call me, but they call me like a wuss, like a little wuss, like, come on, bring it on, aging. I'm like, no. The skin is the most beautiful organ. It can do its own job. All we need to do is support it. And all those ingredients I talked about today, they are what we call support ingredients. We are just helping the skin do what it should do. And guess what? The one main thing we need to do is anti-inflammation. If we know what inflammation is doing. It's causing cancer. We know this. This is why we're getting cancer because our bodies are so inflamed with everything, sugars and free radicals. So let's just treat the skin really gently. And this is why I do not believe in layering serums. I am a serum cycler with any of those sorts of ingredients. You just cycle your serums. You know, you could use 4 different serums. You could cycle 3 in the evenings and then use a different serum during the day. Play with your serums, but do not use too many serums. This causes inflammation in the skin. Inflammation leads to the breakdown of collagen, the opposite of what we're wanting to do.
Wonderful. Well, I think we've reached our time. So, Will, I want to thank you so much. It's what time is it there?
It's nearly 3 a.m.
Oh,
Guys, so that means your participation. We can't thank you enough for
yes.
joining us. It means everything. And I know I've got my list ready of things I want. And please contact your reps. We got Biocosmetic of Texas here. I'm Nicole. I'm with Euro Pacific for the West Coast. And we just want to thank you, Will. You're amazing. And we appreciate it.
I just want to finish on one thing. And what I want to say is that, like I talked about before, if you treat your skin gently, it will be your best friend. And it
Yeah,
is also, your skin is your skin expert. It will tell you how it's feeling. You just have to listen. And when it says too much, pull back.
very good. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Nicole. And I hope we're going to do that again very soon.
Thank you guys, and follow me on Biodroga.truebeauty because you know we are one big worldwide family with Biodroga, and so we're all always here for everyone. Thank you
Yes.
for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Go back to
Thank
sleep.
you, Will.
Sonia.
Hi, Sonia.
Hi, Will.